In the great deserts of Las Vegas, many stars were born, and many stars lived their lives to fame. Elvis Presley, Siegfried and Roy, Penn and Teller, Blue Man Group, and the podcast known as
Trapped Under Plastic. Woo! We're here. Let's go. All right, show of hands. First time here at LVO.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Almost everybody.
Okay, I'm going to do more hands things. Are you here for gaming?
Okay, about half.
Painting? Both. Okay.
Tup.
All right. Yes, tough.
Yeah. Okay. That's why we're all here.
Oh, God,
we get it.
Don't do that. Okay.
Okay. Don't smack
Do
shit.
not do that. Yeah, it does not work out. Okay, cool.
Scott, we're in Las Vegas.
We are. First time ever.
First time ever in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and we have not, since the planes have landed, have not stepped foot out of this building.
No.
Do we plan on it?
I mean, this building is like as big as the city that I was born in, so I'm like okay with the size.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We did almost have to go outside this morning to Zenithal Prime all the Duchess Minis.
Yeah. Dude, last night, or was it the night before, I was like, so I had a plane to get to here at 9:55 p.m. My wife is a very scheduled and rigid person, and so she always leaves like 2 hours early to get on an airplane. And it was like, I'm not even kidding, it was 9 p.m. and I was priming Duchess models, and we still had to drive to the airport that's 30 minutes away. So I got there at like 9:30, and I like sprinted to my gate and made the flight, and I was like, oh, thank God. But that was very stressful. But we're here. We're doing this. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm a little bit excited.
Okay, just a little bit.
Yeah, so we got them primed black, and by we, I mean you.
Yeah.
And we did not Zenithal Prime them, and by we, I mean you.
Do you guys know how long it takes to assemble 25 display models? Longer than I thought. It was like 10 hours. It was ridiculous.
Oh, no. But that's it. We're here. We are teaching a 2-day class. We got done with day 1 today, 8 hours. And we got some members of our class in the audience tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Okay. So we have, as part of our class, we have a series of events that they must pass, a series of trivia questions, and where only one team can survive. And we have split the teams. There's 3 teams in our class. And we make them name their teams, and they compete against each other to the death.
Yes.
And it's an important part of becoming a better miniature painter.
Yes.
Right. And so,
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah. Sub-Zero, I got my money on him. But we had them name their teams. Can you remember the names of the teams?
We have Asterisk. Team literally called Asterisk.
It's not the word. It's not spelled out. It's just an asterisk.
There's a team called Cakester, as in Oreo Cakesters. Show of hands, who likes Oreo Cakesters?
Nobody.
Get out.
Fucking soft cookies. Okay, and the last team
is something to do with canes and energy. Canes enabled.
Yeah, the play on words is premium.
It's beautiful.
I gotta believe that name wasn't thought up on the spot. Like someone had it in their back pocket.
Yeah.
And they were like, boom, this is this moment.
Definitely.
My whole life led up to this.
Yes.
Canes enabled. And so I'm sure you all want to hear the play-by-play of how the teams have been faring in their first series of trials. The Cakesters jumped out to a massive lead.
Yes.
Massive lead.
It was concerning because I hate that team.
Yeah.
Because I hate Cakesters.
Yes. And we thought they were going to run away with it early. You know, it was something like 6 to 1 to 1.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then something happened, and the Cakesters just got soggy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
they come packaged soggy, so how could they even get
it's
soggy?
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after day 1, it's a neck and neck and neck, 3 neck race.
Yes.
Lots of necks.
It's good. The questions are good.
I mean, you got to throw a couple of curveballs in there, and also remind me later tonight I got to write more fucking questions.
Yes.
Because I used all the good Jurassic Park questions already.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's too many Jurassic Park questions. All right, so we got a little preamble ramble.
The best part of the podcast.
Yeah, that is the podcast. So we're gonna do a preamble ramble tonight. This is a little itinerary of what we're doing. So we're gonna do preamble ramble. We're gonna have our good buddy Seth come up here, and we're gonna talk with Seth because Seth is the organizer for all the hobby side of shit
Woo!
at LVO.
Applause for Seth.
And so we're going to ask him about everything he did wrong this week. And then we're going to learn a little bit of what it takes to handle an event of this size. And then we are going to get into your questions.
Yeah, a little Q&A. So we got a little spot up here that's taped off, and we'll have a wireless mic here. You can come up and then ask us a question, and then we'll answer it. We have a few from online as well.
If you go too far, you will walk directly into macaroni.
Don't do that.
Don't walk into macaroni.
It's a federal crime.
Yeah. So Macaroni is our esteemed colleague for the evening, and he is going to make sure that you ask one question and one question only, and then go to the back of the line and ask another question, and then we get through all of those.
And they'll be here until 1 a.m.
Or nobody asks any questions, and this gets fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Right?
Start thinking, okay?
Yeah. This is why we say this now, so you feel obligated to think of questions over the next 15 to 115 minutes before we get to that point.
Preamble Ramble definitely ranges that much. But basically, we didn't think of a topic, so we need a topic from you guys, okay? That's what's happening right now.
Any questions? No questions are off limits. This is Las Vegas. Before we do all that, though, we are going to burst a cherry here that this is some moment that will live on in the history of the internet, and that is Scott's very first taste of hard Mountain Dew. Oh.
It is okay.
Does it taste like booze?
A tiny bit, but it's mostly Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you got the OG original.
Yeah.
I took the watermelon. You want to taste the watermelon? Taste the watermelon.
Oh wow, this is a whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I had a black cherry earlier today.
That's kind of better.
Yeah, the black cherry is my favorite.
Yeah.
And as part of the act today, we were going to have a number of side shows, mostly one side show, which we're going to call up at this time. Our lovely student that procured these for us, as well as one of the handful of Fireball Cinnamon whiskeys I procured, and he's going to do a trick for us.
Wait, are you for real?
Yeah.
Is this happening?
Yeah, it's happening.
What? Nice shirt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's on camera. That camera right there.
That camera right there.
Here's also Baja Blast.
Baja Blast.
Wait, what is
Okay.
happening?
All right. Let's make sure we can see him.
Okay. I'm terrified. I have no idea what's about to happen. I think you are. It's just very dim.
Okay. Can we get him behind us? Okay. We got him.
Hey! Goddamn backflip. All right, now you try, dude. Off the stage.
Give me a couple more of these.
All right.
Land on my
you
head.
know, including this, I also reached another milestone in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I finally watched that movie with Denzel Washington that I can't remember the name
Training
of.
Day?
Training Day.
Oh.
I did it!
Dude. Oh, man. We need to turn that into a trivia question for tomorrow.
Denzel is an asshole in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was good, though. It was good.
He's got
spoilers.
There are a number of great monologues
Yes.
in that movie.
Dude, King Kong ain't got shit on me. That is such a great quote.
Yeah. There's some good ones. Ethan
Yeah.
Hawke plays a great, wimp.
Yeah, he's a loser.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about movies. So,
Yeah, because this is the place for it.
so on the flight out here, I watched The Batman. Y'all seen The Batman, starring the guy from Twilight? Is it good? Do you like it? I was like, sweet. They were like, Batman, Saw, let's put them together. And it worked.
Yeah, that sounds
fucking
awesome.
Good. It's a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
And he punches people in the throat like 3 times, which is great because that's what you do.
Yes.
If
As
they
Batman.
don't see it coming, there's no quicker way to take somebody down and punch them in the throat.
Yeah.
So I learned something. Was a good movie. The great thing is my flight was 2 hours and 35 minutes. That movie is 2 hours and 55 minutes. You start it while they're still bringing people on, and then right when you land before you get off. Perfect timing.
Okay, I have a question about this. What is your airplane like gap closer? So if you're like on an airplane and you watch a movie and you got like an hour left, what do? Do you like listen to music? Do you like crochet? Do you like watch a TV show?
Yeah, because now they have TV shows on the ones with the screens behind.
Yeah, I watched The Office. Just like 20 minutes, you can just kind of piece that in until you land.
Yeah, I can go random episode. I checked that as we were stuck waiting in the terminal for our gate to open.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got 8 minutes here. I looked for The Office. Office was not on that plane.
Rip.
But I Parks and Rec'd it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just find
Good
any
stuff.
episode with Tammy.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah,
Ron Swanson and Tammy.
Yeah.
And that is what I did for 8 minutes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
What's with like shows on airplanes like starting at episode 5? Like what's with that? Like I wanted to watch the Rick and Morty season. It was like episode 5 to the end, and I was like, okay, sure. Okay, I'll skip them then.
They're just doing you a favor. Like you didn't need to watch.
That's
those
what they're
anyway.
doing. Like, these are shit. You don't want to watch them.
All right, so I got something to talk about. We had an awkward moment this morning in our hotel room. So Scott and I are sharing Scott and I are sharing a hotel room because that's what we do. And our hotel room has a bathroom.
Yeah!
We got a fucking window. Okay.
There's a window into our goddamn shower. What the fuck is that about?
A window from the bedroom where my bed is. I stand up and I look over, and Scott's butt ass naked, and I see him through a fucking window.
I told you not to look.
Look. No, I mean, all I'm saying is there's no better premium B-roll for a YouTube video than just a little weird gold filigree covered window with you singing T Swift.
Okay.
Like lathering up.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah. So
as long as it's the intro to your next video.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. There's no preface. There's no script. There's no talking. That's just it.
Yeah.
Start and finish.
I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Well, we got something to do tomorrow morning. Or tonight.
Just me and you in our hotel room.
No.
Okay.
Not this weekend.
What else?
Okay. What else is new?
You had a story about an Asian lady and a stroller and 2 dogs in an elevator.
Yes, I do. Okay.
I don't know how I remembered that, but
Yeah, I had so many stories, and then I tell you the story name to you to remind me later.
Yeah.
So I got in earlier yesterday to kind of reconnoiter what's happening for the weekend, making sure our classroom was all set up, trying to meet Val for this. That didn't happen. Val was sleeping. I couldn't get in. I got another story. Shit. I got another story. All right, so this story is I'm finally find the elevator. For 45 minutes after I checked into this hotel, I couldn't find the elevator to go up to the 6th floor. And it was embarrassing. And I was by myself. I had all my luggage, and no one was there with me. And it was dead here because no one had arrived yet, and I was sad. I finally found the elevator. Spoiler, it's right next to the other elevator that only goes up to the fucking 40th floor. I didn't know there was a little side hallway that led to the regular elevators. Anyway, I go up, I check in to get all my shit, and I come back down here to go look in our room for our painting class. And as I walk in, there's 2 ladies in the elevator, and they both have, well, one had a cart that had luggage in it, and one had a stroller, like a stroller that you have for babies. And in that stroller were 2 little dogs. And it was a little old Asian lady, and they said hi to me, so I had to ask the questions. What's going on?
Yeah. What's the deal with this?
What's the deal? And without skipping a beat, this lady said, "They're my good luck charms."
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like...
Wait, so what was the exact question you asked? Like, what's your deal? Or like, what's going on?
I was like, what's with your babies? I think were the exact words I said, which I assume if you have a stroller with 2 dogs in it, that they're your babies.
Yeah.
So I wanted to meet her in the middle ground, you know?
Okay.
Like where she is.
Right.
Yes. And she said, "They're my good luck charms." And I'm like, "Oh, really? What games do they play?" And she says, "They hit the buttons for the slot machines for me."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the end of the conversation. I was like, all right.
You had like 10 more floors of silence.
Yes. Yes. So then I get all the way down, and this is where we're leading into the story too. I get all the way down. I leave. They go over to the slots. I should have went with them. I feel like I would have had a much better night if I went with them. But instead, I was going to come in here and try to find Val to do some AV stuff. All the doors were locked, okay? So I did what anyone will do. You wait by a door until somebody leaves.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That's always kind of weird when you're like walking into like a apartment complex and you go in and then some mysterious character goes in behind you and it's like, did I just commit a crime? Are they gonna kill somebody? Not my problem. Like, whatever.
I also watched the Dahmer Netflix special.
Yeah.
Yes. But while you do that, you have to be on your phone, not looking like you're waiting to sneak in.
Super casual.
Yeah, just doop-a-doo. I got to check the emails. And I was finally about to give up, and I'm like, I've been waiting here for like 10 minutes, and no one's left. There must be nobody in there. I turn to leave. I'm like 15 feet away from the door, and I hear the and a guy walks out, and I'm like, should I? I waited too long, and then I was like, I got to do this. So I ran, and I flung my foot in the door right as it was about to close. And I smashed my foot in the door. Worth it, okay? I get in.
Worth it. You should have thrown like a mini and like timed it so it landed right in there, like fucking James Bond style, but like miniature painting James Bond style, and then like got in.
But it doesn't break any bit of the mini.
No.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that next time.
Okay, sick.
Okay, so I smashed my foot. I quietly then opened the door, right? No one saw a thing.
Okay.
I opened that back door, and there's like 6 people in this entire room. The only people that there were people in this corner right over here live streaming a game. There was a game of 40K going on, and then people announcing and live streaming. And I'm like, okay, that's the only people I see. Maybe I'll go up on the stage. And I look directly to my right, and there's a security guard. And I was like, but she was like 65 and 5'2". So
you're like, I can take her.
I had a moment where I didn't know if I was fight or flight, right? I could take her, or I could pretend none of this ever happened and run away.
Your Cro-Magnon man brain just started to work, and you're like...
And she says, what are you here for? And I'm like, I have to go over there and help them.
You just lied? You had
lied.
You had a legit reason to be in this room.
I know.
And you're like, I'm just going to lie.
Yeah, I could. There was a reason. I chose not to say that reason. Okay. So she's like, okay, I'll walk you over. And I'm like, I don't know any of the people that are over there. And I had this whole goddamn travel to think of a way to get out of this.
Wait, was the Asian lady in the stroller related to this story?
Nope. It was the same trip. It was one story and then another.
Okay.
I left her in the slots and I kept walking here.
Okay.
And then this picks up. Okay. So I get all the way there and I'm like, I got nothing. I have no good ideas of how to get myself out of this. And I'm like, I'm going to have to come clean to this lady. And she's small talking me. She's smiling, but she's also looking at me with a side eye like she doesn't believe a word I'm saying.
Yeah, you're like, listen, Deborah, I lied to you.
Yeah, it was not, I knew this was all going to go up in flames shortly. Luckily, 10 feet from the stream going live, one of the announcers says, and joining us now is the amazing miniature painter and YouTuber Ninjon. And I'm like, see, I told you. I fucking told you. I told you. And I go over there, and I color commentate a game of 40K, and I don't know any of the fucking rules. For like a half hour. But
I don't know
like,
if I believe this.
I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. But it was part of the stream, and they were doing a charity event where people in the stream would donate money, and they could make up rules, or they could make things happen.
Okay.
Like a person donated $10, and they could say the person whose active turn is immediately over because the dude was winning, and it was it.
Was there like an option to like force them to like switch sides, just like you get the other person's army?
No, I didn't. I didn't follow close enough.
Shame.
I was still nervous at this point.
Okay.
After about 5 minutes of her like watching over to make sure she leaves, and then as soon as she goes all the way back over there, I snuck out the side door. I didn't even do the thing I was here to do the whole goddamn night.
Wow.
Which is why the podcast tonight started a half an hour late because none of the prep work was done because
It was John's fault.
It was all my fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So this is 5% alcohol, and I am ashamed to say that I am feeling it after drinking, like, I don't know, a quarter of these things.
Oh, you tried the other. How's the Baja Blast?
They're all pretty, like, middling, you know, like 6 out of 10.
6 out. They are no. They're no. What are the ones that we had with the rum, with the Maui, for the drunken mini painting?
Yeah, we just mixed, like, this super, like, high sugar content, like, Mai Tai mixer.
Yeah, Mai Tais.
And then we just barfed all over the place.
Dude, so much barf.
Dude. I have barfed at 3 out of 4 of the drunk mini paintings. And everyone's like, why don't you do more of them? It's like, it's hell, dude.
We haven't done one in like a year and a half. We usually do them around March, April.
We should do another one.
We should do another one, like right now. Right now, tonight. Yeah,
Vegas, yes.
We can get one of those big, tall frou-frou drinks that will kill you.
Yeah.
I'm told.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Didn't I do a fucking beer bong in the last one?
Yeah, you did.
That was the first time ever.
Dude,
that was incredible.
That was a beautiful vomit, though, because it was so much liquid that just shot out like Mount Everest. It was
So, like, after drunk mini painting, I was feeling like on top of the world. That's this last time, and we were gonna do a stream. We're gonna play some Song of Ice and Fire. We're gonna do some stream. I was setting up cameras, plugging things in, and then like at some point, like my world just stopped, and then I sat down. And I was like, okay. And then I was like head down for like 30 minutes. And they were all like, Scott, are you okay? And I just went and like threw up like 8 times.
Yeah. And that was
Stream
it.
Didn't happen though.
There was nothing that happened afterwards.
No.
We talked awkwardly about you when you were sitting right there, white as a ghost, probably about to die.
Yeah.
But you didn't have enough hair to hold it back. But if you did.
But when John got sick, he puked like all over my like tripod and like my like sound blankets.
Yeah.
And like I don't know why, and this is getting a little TMI, but we decided to eat like a whole bag of Doritos like right after it.
Dude, you gotta cleanse the palate.
All right, anyways. We got more Preamble Ramble, or are we getting Seth up here?
I know. I think we probably should bring up Seth.
All right, Seth.
Come on up here. I
Get
need a barrel
naked.
roll. Just scoot. Scoot. No. He broke it. Do much.
Are we still
hard
good?
Mountain Dew. That was about to get real bad real quick. All right, we're going to scoot Seth in here.
How many years have you been doing this?
So as the overall
Get close.
program director and person running everything, this will be my 4th year.
4th year. Yeah. Seth does so much. He came by and gave us food today, water, refilled the wet pallets. It's just... He's always here.
Is that normal, or you just love us?
I just love you.
Yeah. We thought we got special
It's
treatment.
totally normal.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. But Seth, you do more than this in the hobby, right? Like, you are the hobby sensei. If you follow Seth on Instagram, if you don't, you should. The hobby sensei. He does some crazy, crazy miniature painting and does some wild shit with sticks.
And rocks.
And rocks. And water.
Some dirt and water.
Yeah. Okay.
Fire.
And fire. Dude, do you have fire in a piece?
I mean, sometimes you just gotta light it on fire.
Oh.
You want to get that right look, right?
Maybe we should ask Seth some real questions.
Oh, okay.
All right, Seth, what is the thing you love most about being an event coordinator at LVO and the thing you hate the most?
The week before the event is probably the thing that I hate the absolute most. I mean, the anxiety, the stress, the what did I forget? What do I love the most is seeing all the people together and actually being in the event in the moment, seeing like the learning and the teaching that's happening. I think that's like inspiring. And 3 or 4 days before the event, I always have a moment where I ask myself, why do I do this to myself? And then sometimes I want to break down and cry in a corner, right? Sometimes, you know, it's happened a couple of times, right? But then I get here and you just realize this is why you do it. You see all the people.
Yeah.
I definitely had a similar situation where I was just like I was flying out late. I was like, what did I forget? I'm freaking out. I was having like mini panic attacks on the airplane. But then we got into the room, started teaching class. It was just smooth sailing from then on. Right?
Yeah.
It felt really good. So I definitely relate to that.
Yeah. Okay, so Seth, so you've been doing this for 4 years. What's some of the biggest things that you think that Seth from 4 years ago did wrong that Seth from this year has done right? Eat it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think I still make the same mistakes.
You're honest. I appreciate that. As someone who does that every time I paint a mini, I feel that making the same mistakes over and over again.
Does this work? Can you hear me through this mic? It does not work.
We'll
keep doing what we're doing.
All right. So do you have a question for Seth?
Yeah. How many people are in attendance at LVO on an average year?
It's gotten to the point where it's around 3,000 to 4,000 people.
Holy shit.
Do you know how that compares to like Adepticon and stuff?
We're getting close. It's getting close, right? But Adepticon is definitely still larger.
Oh, wow. I saw this room just full of sweaty gamers, and I was like, this is definitely a bigger con. But apparently Adepticon's a little bit bigger.
In overall attendance, but event size, this is bigger. So single events, this event has the larger events. It has this huge room, right? It's like over 1,000 people playing 40K.
So what is one thing that you'd like to improve about the event program for like painters that you haven't been able to do but would like to do if you had like more resources available to you?
If I had more resources available to me, I would give everybody puppies, and we would have lollipops and personalized aprons, televisions, the whole 9 yards. But honestly, what would I do? I would just try to improve on the things that we already have. The idea is to create a program where people can learn, but it's also profitable for the artists to come out. A lot of times a convention will do a thing where you can come and teach, but we'll pay for part of your badge, or we'll give you a free stay or reimburse your travel. I want to make a program where when you come, it is because you enjoy what you're doing, but also it makes sense financially.
Yeah.
So that's what separates LVO from other conventions, is that the artists that are here are actually like making like a decent income to do this for a living, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. That's
great.
great.
Awesome. People like us like benefit from that greatly. So yeah, we appreciate it, Seth.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate that. And we get amazing teachers from around the world,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got folks from Italy, from Germany, teachers here this weekend, which that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I think you also manage either one or a chain of game stores as well in California. Am I wrong about that?
It's a national chain.
Oh, okay. Big guy said.
It's called fucking Costco.
So is there anything in that experience that applies to this experience, or like totally different skill sets?
No, it's actually very similar. I mean, business is business, right? Yeah. So you learn lessons, and a lot of times your lessons are learned from your mistakes. So I've done a lot of learning. Yeah, that's the way you think about it. But it's Game Castle. We have 11 locations, physical locations across the nation, and there's probably one close to you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, see what he did there?
Yeah.
I feel like Game Castle would be a great sponsor for the podcast, Trapped Under Plastic. I don't know.
Give me your money, Seth.
Just wondering.
I gotta go.
Okay, Seth, so you also compete in miniature painting competitions. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so tell me, what is the piece that you've done? I know the correct answer, but let's see if you have it. What is the piece that you've done that you're most proud of, and maybe kind of describe it if folks don't know, and then if we have it for those watching on YouTube, we'll show it right now.
I would say it's probably the one that I called my elephant, which was an AT-AT diorama. It was in a scratch-built box that had a gel film on top that represented water, but there was no resin at all.
It's fucking wild. It looks like it's a giant, like 6-inch deep resin pour, and there's no fucking resin in it. And there's a splash. Like, the best part about that is like the movement of the water of this giant thing going through.
Okay,
that was the correct answer, Seth. It's the correct answer. Good job.
Is there a gel film on the sides as well, or is it just the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see everything under from the side, like, perfectly. That is awesome. How did you make the top to, like, be like waves and stuff?
I cut the piece too big, and then I put it on.
Okay.
And it wouldn't fit, so I pushed on it, and it popped. And then I heated it up a little bit.
All right, YouTube video impending with that exact instruction.
Yeah.
You make it too big, you pop it on, and then I don't know what happens after
You just
that.
have an earpiece in and Seth telling you how to do this, and you're just at home going like, push.
Is this right? This doesn't feel right.
Oh, no. Okay, so we also have a miniature painting competition here at LVO. And as of today, as of this recording, we are at Friday night. And I heard that the display cases were full, and you got to bring in more display cases for the competition pieces. Is that true?
That is true. So we had to close entry a little bit early today. We have 4 more cases coming in tomorrow, and I expect them to be filled up. I know that there's a lot of big painters who are waiting to the last moment. And what was interesting is a lot of times we'll see like either a lot of masterclass or a lot of journeyman. And this year it's actually split down the middle. So I'm happy to see more people overall.
Okay, so you have 3 different levels, right? So you have the kids or is it under 18, under 17? Youngbloods, under 16. Okay. So if you're 17 years old, you're fucked, right?
Yeah. Oh no, because you're a journeyman.
Okay.
Right.
So you have the kids, you have journeymen, and you have masters. So
That's
can you explain what is like the difference between a journeyman and a master?
There's that's a big question, right?
That's what we're here for, the hard-hitting questions in miniature painting.
It's a difference in level and experience, but the way that our system works is the scoring is the same across the board, doesn't matter what tier you're in. It's just the bell curve is different for different terms. So if you got a silver, you get a gold in journeyman's, but it's high enough to be scoring in masters, we let you know. Right?
Oh.
And so you know that maybe it's time for me to progress. It is not meant to be a thing to separate, but to give people an area where they feel comfortable entering, okay? Everybody's encouraged to eventually enter masters.
Okay.
But what are the things that we look for when we start to do masters? There's 3 big things, right? It is the use of direct lighting and having like actual light sources, not just being an overall zenithal, right?
Okay.
The creation of your own textures and the implementation of creating more detail on a model. And then the like use of color and composition to move the eye around the piece. If you're hitting those boxes, it doesn't matter if you're the best blender. It doesn't matter if you have the best skills. You have the ideas that are what should be putting you into masterclass.
Wow. And if you wanted to learn these things, what's an amazing duo of miniature painting teachers that you'd recommend to learn these things from?
It would be the Italians.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth, get the fuck out of here. No,
That's all time I have for today.
That was really cool. So Seth broke down this is an open system,
Yes.
right? So it's not just you competing against the other painters. It's you competing against you. Yeah, and
So-
trying to grow. Is there a reason why you've chosen the open system as opposed to the straight up everyone gets ranked and you see where you stand and feel terrible about yourself?
I mean, what you said.
Yeah.
Right? But I once long ago worked for a company that had a very large painting competition that we're maybe familiar with. And I, at one point in time, was behind those curtains with the judging and saw models that were similar being, which one is better? And instead of saying, what are the merits of this model? Looking for which one has the most flaws, because obviously that's not as good as the other. And this kind of put me off to that. I like a story. I want a piece that if I look at it, it's showing something. It's got motion, it's got emotion, it's got a story. If it's just technically perfect, it could be bland,
Yeah.
right? I want a little salt.
I like salt. Yeah, and maybe a little sweet in there, a little sweet and salty. A little heat.
What does that mean in miniature painting terms? What's the suite of mini painting?
Sweet is resin, but not using resin.
Oh, okay, it's the gel. It's the gel film. Yes.
Yeah, that Cristal gel.
And
Yeah.
then what's the salt?
The salt. Don't make me keep coming up with stuff. God damn it. So the salt is the fact.
He's actually doing it. Okay.
Is that it's a AT Walker in water. In none of the movies they were in water. You know, that's salty.
Wow, that's not canon. I don't know about that.
You know, I would say the salt is the crying that happens after the competition.
Yeah.
But there's always some chicky tendies on the way back.
Yay!
Not that I've ever seen your guys' poster.
Okay.
Do we have an audience question for Seth? Just shout it out. This guy. Okay, so he asks, in the different levels of competition, does that equate to a certain amount of hours?
Maybe not on that particular project, right? But maybe behind a brush total, yes. So if I've only got 50 hours behind my brush, then I may not be ready for masters, but I could have a lot more experience and only put 10 hours into a piece and still have it be masters. Does that make sense?
Good answer. Good answer.
All right. I think that's all the time I have today for Seth. We release you to go get dinner now.
You may eat.
And I do want to say these guys are amazing, and they're amazing artists, and you know, I didn't want to talk too bad about them. Right?
And we appreciate Seth. He's been amazing, and we felt his stress, and he needs to go eat some food now before he dies.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, Seth and I believe his business partner, Kat, we have just requested things from them, and they just show up in 10 minutes. And so they have been a huge support for us here at LVO and during our class. Bro, I miss you. Where have you been?
Oh,
Yes.
there you are.
Thank you, Seth.
Hey everybody, not to interrupt this Las Vegas Giggle Fest, but I need to tell you about today's sponsor, Broken Anvil Miniatures, and the exciting news that they have that late pledges are now open for their Forged campaign. If you missed out on the Kickstarter last month, now is your last chance to get in on this incredible deal for an enormous collection of Broken Anvil's physical miniatures. These models are beautifully sculpted 28mm heroic scale and come pre-assembled in plastic. Their campaign includes fearsome heroes, formidable enemies, as well as 5e compatible content and everything in between. It's all available for pledge right now, but you gotta act now. And you get access to all of the models that were unlocked during the campaign. Oh, and I also want to tell you about this little guy right here. This is Arkhan the Cruel, and that name may be familiar to you. And the name maybe even more familiar is Arkhan's creator, Joe Manganiello, a fellow nerd, D&D player, collaborator, writer, dungeon master. Joe has teamed up with Broken Anvil to bring his character to life. That's right, Joe and Broken Anvil proudly present the release of their fully licensed rendition of this fearsome half-dragon Oathbreaker in 32mm scale. This model is a pre-order, meaning the only way you can get it is to go over to their website now and claim yours. Lastly, the team over at Broken Anvil has just brought back their monthly Patreon called Broken Anvil Monthly. And this time, they're offering patrons exclusive paint tutorials and hobby videos from industry pros, plus updates on their secret projects, plus physical miniatures mailed to your door every month. The links to all three of the things we talked about today are down in the video description or in the show notes if you are listening to us. Big thank you to Broken Anvil for sponsoring the channel. Now let's get back to Vegas.
All right, now we're going to enter the Q&A portion.
Does this mic work?
I don't know. But we will we'll lubricate the wheels here by starting with an online question. And that was, how do you get out of a hobby funk? When you're feeling like you don't want to paint, how do you get the juices back?
Yeah.
My solution is shitty 80s fantasy movies and a lot of weed.
What does that have to do with painting miniatures?
Nothing. It doesn't. I'm a terrible human being.
Okay.
Although, no, seriously, though,
Yeah, okay, you got a serious answer.
I like movies a lot. And so if I can like watch a movie and be enthused about it and paint a character inspired from that, then I'm like back in it. So I went and saw The Green Knight. And I painted like a Arthurian lore character, and I was super into it because I was thinking about the movie and like the character, and that definitely gets me into it.
Okay, I dig that. My answer is if I have a funk in nothing that I've been working on or nothing that is on my mental backlog of things I know I need to do, nothing is getting me motivated. What I'll do is I'll just go to, I don't know, if I had a closet filled with miniatures, in theory, that are still in their boxes, and I didn't know what to do with them. I go through there, and I keep looking at every miniature until I find one that's like, ooh. And then what I do is I sit down and I paint it in one night, in one session. I don't get up until it's done. I don't try too hard. I just love the mini, and that's it. It is as simple as that. So I get to just do what I want to do, have fun with something that excites me, but don't have the pressure to make it look amazing.
All right, cool.
Just finish the thing.
All
and then I found if I finish a thing, I'm so much more likely to tomorrow to find another thing.
Okay, so you're kind of riding that high from actually completing something.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did with VinciCon. So we painted our asses off for 3-4 straight days. I came home.
Okay, I did.
I mean,
you were playing Magic the Gathering.
Dude, I played so much Magic with Vince. Dude,
I went in there, I was like, I'm going to paint the same amount as Vince. And it wasn't even fucking hard.
Yeah. Dude, Vince fucking phoned it in because he painted for 76 hours over the last week. So,
No, he crushes me daily for last 10 years. So it's okay. You can take the L one time.
Take one time.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of taking the L, I just destroyed him in Magic for an entire weekend. I felt so good about myself. I felt so good because I'm like, I'll never beat you in a game of Age of Sigmar, but I can beat your ass in Magic.
Yeah.
Oh!
Hey, Val coming through.
Yeah, we got macaroni right there.
Yeah, give it to the dog, please.
The golden doodle.
That's okay. We'll repeat the questions. All right. So, anyone with questions? You can go to this little white box right here, grab the mic, and then ask it.
Create a line, and while you do that, while we start this line, we're gonna have a couple minutes to start the line. I got another story to tell.
Oh boy.
Seth made me think of this. So the miniature painting competition at LVO is this weekend. I brought something to enter, and this morning I brought it in this clear case by Cobalt Keep, great company. They have sponsored the podcast before, and I sticky tacked the shit out of it to the thing. And then when I got to the plane, they made me check the bag. It wasn't like you know, would you like to, whatever, because no, I need this with me. And they're like, nope, it's got to go. So I'm like, oh, fuck, my miniature is screwed. I get back to the hotel room. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Last night we had some friends over to our room, had a couple drinky drinks, talked about minis. They're looking at the model and put the case back on it. This had a clear plastic top. This morning I pick up the case to bring it to the class so the students can look at it before I enter it. I pick it up. The lid was off. I blame Willie Hanna. It's all his fault for breaking my miniature. I picked it up thinking I could pick it up by the top. The top was loose, and it tore the whole miniature off, and it broke two tiny little pieces off of it.
Yeah.
So tonight I super glued it back together. It seems just about as good as new. That's my story about breaking my miniature. It's Will Hahn's fault.
All right. First question. Hi.
Yes.
What is something you guys have learned from teaching that you would not have learned from just hanging out?
Okay, so the question was, what is something we've learned from teaching that we wouldn't have learned just being in our basements alone like losers?
I got one. You got one?
You go first.
Okay, I go first. The thing that I have learned from first of all, it forces you to think about things that become kind of subconscious. So you make a lot of decisions in miniature painting. The more hours you get behind the brush, as Seth said, which is a great way to put it, the more you kind of don't actively think about what you're doing, about now I'm going to do blending, and now I'm going to do glazing, and now I'm going to do wet blending. At a certain point, if you kind of get a good hang of those, you quit thinking of them as separate things. But I didn't ever realize that that's what I was doing until I had to communicate how you get to a point of understanding and then working through different steps. And once I realized, I was like, oh, this isn't just a step-by-step thing, and that's not how I'm doing it. And to try to teach the core elements and then showing how you go from learning those to adapting them on the fly. And it's a really good feeling as you're not thinking about it anymore. You're just, this is the problem I need to solve on the Mini right now, and something is naturally happening. So I wouldn't have probably ever thought about that if I didn't have to try to communicate that to students.
Yeah. I think for like specific techniques like glazing and wet blending and feathering, there are a lot of like really small little like tricks or just things that I take for granted that I wouldn't ever have thought about that didn't translate to like someone through a video. It's like we teach a class together, and one of the values of that is that while one is demoing and teaching, the other one can literally go and just like breathe down someone's neck and watch them paint models and be like, stop, that's wrong, do it again. And so I found out like just how specific one could be to like get someone to do the technique in the right way and define success. And I think that's going to translate into how I script videos now, because it's like those small minute details that you mentioned in the beginning are like so important and so critical to success. Like glazing and not dabbing off that moisture in your brush and instead keeping it in there and then like washing the whole model, flooding it with paint, like just ruins the whole technique of glazing. So those small little minute things, I could just watch, tell them exactly what they want to do, and then it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Cool.
question. Good
All right.
question.
Good question. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you. We're going to clap for every single person's question.
How, by the way, how is the giant horse's foot drink?
It went faster than I ever anticipated it would.
I mean,
It tastes a lot like the Hawaiian punch that you can get in a can, like that fruit.
oh,
But it gets you
yeah.
drunk.
But it gets you, but that plus rum.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah,
plus
dude.
rum.
Fuck yeah, dude. All right.
Plus
Yeah.
horse. There's real horse, made with 100% real horse. That.
Only worth what I have to pay.
It better be.
All right. Next
Better
question.
have goddamn sea biscuit in that drink.
Quick shout out to Scott, aka the Tickler, on his recent knowledge and understanding of pop culture references. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Woo!
Yeah, he did it.
Come on, guys. Clap. Clap.
My question is kind of similar, but is there is an experience or a mini you've seen someone else painted or something like a hobby tip that has guided and kind of inspired you the last year or something like that, or like pushed your technique or something like that?
Okay. Yeah, let's
Good
get. Let's get.
question.
So he's asking
Good
if there's been a
question.
model or a hobby tip that has inspired or kind of like, given us some higher divine thinking. Okay.
Yeah, I got one. You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned this in the class that we're taking, but lately, so I've had a working script for a beginner intro video for a long time, and I've been like tooling with it for like a year. And one thing that I didn't know what to do is when I'm teaching a beginner how to paint, do I teach them this GW methodology of base coating, washing, layer, 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 or do I go for the dark to light? Like I never knew what the right answer was. And for like the last 2 years, maybe a year and a half, I've been really getting into priming models black and painting them from dark shadows to highlights. There's a bit of a trick with doing that that's like can trip you up a bit, where sometimes you don't make enough space for your midtone and your model ends up looking like a different color than you anticipated. And that's kind of hard to remember while doing that technique. And then it like dawned on me, I understand the idea of why GW does what they do. They paint a part of the model, the midtone, the color they want it to be. They wash it with kind of a translucent color. It doesn't really darken it that much. Reapply that exact same color, and bang, you're right back at your midtone. There's no second guessing it. It's like almost guaranteed. And then from there, you can highlight. So I think that is like a much easier like approach to painting for a beginner because there's no guesswork. It's like I don't have to like figure out how much to cover up the previous layer starting from the darkest shadow that I have to have an end result that looks green and not dark green. It's just like so much more obvious. So I think for my beginner video, I'll probably go for that more straightforward approach.
Spoilers, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, part of what I felt was like my axe to grind or my way of like trying to push myself to become a better painter and to win, right? Because I'm a competitive person, so I wanted to win. I wanted to win at competitions and stuff. Was that like I had a chip on my shoulder that I was young. I was not young actually. I was old, but new to painting, right? I was new, and I'm not new anymore. And what I realized was I see both in the class we teach, both on Instagram, both in these other amazing painters, that there are people that have been painting for less time than me or are way younger than me.
Yeah, like people like COVID painters. Like,
Yeah.
we met them at Adepticon, and they started like during the pandemic and are like amazing painters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it reminds me that, like, well, one, it's not a competition, and I shouldn't just constantly put the pressure on to really enjoy what I do. Because it's like the enjoyment, it doesn't matter how much you push yourself if you just hate every second of it. But the enjoyment, to remember that and let that fuel me, and then to also have like appreciation and understanding for the successes that other people have and be happy for them.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm an asshole and I just want to win.
Can we get a show of hands? How many of you enjoy the entirety of the painting process?
Start to finish, every
Start
brushstroke.
to finish. Okay, I'm seeing like maybe 20%, 15% of the room. How many of you enjoy half of the process or more? Okay, much
About
more,
half,
much
yeah.
more. That's a good healthy place to be, I think.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I will say to that is if you don't hate 20% of it, you're not pushing yourself.
I mean,
Right?
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't need to push yourself. Like
Not every mini.
This
Not
is a
every
hobby,
mini.
right? You can just
Right.
enjoy yourself the entire time, and that's totally okay.
Yeah, you paint your D&D mini, you're just like, oh, I really want to just test out if I will, the one of these models for a new unit or a new army color scheme or whatever. Don't hate that.
Yeah.
You're painting, 2,000 points of something. Don't fucking hate that because you're gonna hate your life if you hate that.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want to get a little better, right? I want to level up half level or one level over the next 3 to 5 minis. And if you're gonna do that, 20% of it you should hate because that 20% is gonna be uncomfortable. Because you're not familiar with it yet. You second guess yourself. You feel like you're fucking up the entire time and all of that. And if you do that, that means you are actively learning something new. And eventually that 20% will not be the 20% that you hate anymore. Does that make sense?
I wasn't listening.
I know. You're posting on the Facegrams.
Yeah. Good question, though. Appreciate it.
Good question. Yeah.
Another one. Yes, clapping every single time. No.
All right, alcoholism. Yes.
All right, what's up? What's the next question?
Dude, I want the weirdest questions, and I feel it coming right now. Dirty brush lickers,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're talking paints or anything.
Anything you've put in your mouth accidentally or on purpose?
Okay, so what is the worst tasting hire product on our desk that we have
I got it.
accidentally consumed?
I have the winning answer.
I also have a great answer.
It's liquid resin for your 3D printer.
All right, you win. You win. Yeah, I can't beat that. How are you still alive?
Dude, I don't know. I've only done it like 3 times. It's not on purpose any time, but every time I'm like, that's cancer.
Yeah,
That
probably.
tastes like cancer. I don't know what
Okay.
cancer tastes like, but you taste liquid resin, you're like, yep, that's cancer.
You've done it literally 3 times?
3 times. Every time I'm like, I
How
thought
does
I
this
learned
happen?
my lesson.
How does this even? How does this happen? Why are you eating it?
It's not on purpose.
Stop it! But like, how do you even make the mistake?
I lick everything in my hobby room.
You just walk in, turn the lights on, start licking shit. That's like what you do.
Dude, I work from home all the time. I don't talk to anybody. Everyone here, you think that like we are like, whoa, we're personable people. We talk to people. We don't talk to anybody. All day, every day, it's talking to a weird camera.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
That's our best friend.
Yeah,
A
that's
Panasonic
why-
GH6.
Yeah, that is why we are awkward.
Yeah.
And if you talk with us for more than about 6 minutes, you're like, they're not right.
I had a model stuck to a wooden block with like this green poster tack stuff. And I hate poster tack stuff to like adhere a model to like a handle. It like gets all gunked up. It's hard to get off sometimes. And so I had some stuck to the base and I want to get rid of it. And so I put some Goo Gone on my wet palette. And
Ruh-roh.
it got rid of the stuff. But then later on, I don't know why I put it on my palate, but then later on, I thought it was like Tamiya Clear or something like that, which I don't know why you would eat that anyways. But I put my brush in it, and I fucking ate it. And I was like, that tastes citrusy. And I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, I went and washed up my mouth. But yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Yeah.
So TLDR, Gugon tastes like Capri Sun?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a really awkward comment.
Okay, don't make it.
I gotta pee so bad.
All right, okay. Where is there a close one?
I know where the pier is, but I need
Can someone hold the door
escort
open
to hold
for
the
him?
door.
Okay.
Nobody? Okay. Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh, I got a couple empty bottles here.
Yeah, you do. Lodge a mini in the door.
No, I need someone just. I'll give the secret knock, and that's how you get me back in.
All right, now we all got to sit here in silence while he pees.
All right. No, you can still ask questions and
Yeah,
answer
no,
them.
yeah.
But then you have to step over here and pretend you're me while.
Okay.
Oh, there's.
Okay. All right.
Sweet. I got the beautiful people.
All right. This is my podcast now. I'm the captain. Yes. Yep.
So we all know that you guys are big lore enthusiasts.
Oh yeah, huge.
So is there a story or a concept that you guys haven't found the time or the right miniature to execute properly?
Yeah, and I think I've discussed it before on the podcast, but I read Aaron Dembski Bowden's series on a Trader Legion that I can't remember the name of right now. Throw some out. Night Lords, yes, that one. And like there are like several scenes from that story that I would love to make dioramas of. Like there's a scene where like a whole situation where like they're invading a planet and like playing the noise, which is like basically a bunch of like static over like their PA systems, and like they're hunting like people. And so I would love like a predatory scene where like you can see a Night Lord's prey vision like on a wall, and you can see like the heat signature of a body behind that wall that he's like hunting. But I would love to do that at some point. But you know, I'm not a big fan of GW right now for certain reasons, so I'm shelving it. But yeah, why? I don't know. Because they hate me. No, okay, they don't. But yeah, that'd be it. Cool. I love it. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's going great. How's it going with you? You get really close to it. There it is.
So, I got this little guy right here from Paint and Tapes in the hobby area here, and I only worked on it for about maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
At most, and he's still a splotchy mess, but you know, I'm really happy with how it's coming along.
Okay.
So, my question to you is, do you think that people put too much pressure on themselves when it comes to painting minis? Like, they start getting a good groove, and suddenly they just, they forget it.
Yeah. So the question is, do hobbyists put too much pressure on themselves to get great results? And the answer is resoundingly yes. Like, I think I had a patron tell me one time, like, why does everyone take this so damn serious? We're painting plastic toy soldiers, you know? And that's a good thing to hear every once in a while. Jesus Christ. Light! Hell yeah. Wait, there's like a camera up here.
It's right here.
Okay, good.
Dude, look what I found in the back.
I think there's a time and place for taking painting really seriously, but I think the majority of the time, I'm just looking to have fun. Like I think like 2 years ago, I did a bunch of like sponsored videos where I was painting people's models that they paid me to paint, and I hated it. It killed my enjoyment of the hobby. It was all work, and so I stopped doing that entirely. But every once in a while, when a company like Mindwork comes along and I love one of their models, I'll do that, and it's really enjoyable to kind of combine those two interests. But yeah, the majority of the time, I'm just trying to maximize fun as much as possible, just to like kind of maintain the feeling of this being a hobby. Because like doing it with like YouTube can really easily make it feel like a job, because it literally is, right? And so trying to make sure I'm having fun at all times is really important. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely. People take this way too seriously. But you know, if you have fun doing that though, that's fine. Like if you love talking crunchy mini painting and like, you know, slaving away over a model for like 100 hours and like that end result makes you super happy, that's totally okay. Like this hobby is what you make it, 100%. Cool.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Did you want to answer that question?
I didn't hear the question, but I agree with everything you said.
Hell yeah.
America.
America.
I love assimilating techniques from like lots of different painters and stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's mini painting related or not. I just love watching our faces.
Okay.
So I guess my question is, what is your most like non-mini painting technique that you would put into your hobby?
Okay, so the most non-mini painting technique that we have leveraged in mini painting. I've never been asked that question before.
God damn. I have an answer, but
I feel like I have no skills outside of mini painting, so I'd have nothing to assimilate.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah, makeup stuff. Yeah, I would
Sounds
say.
like you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm big into makeup. Yeah, I think actually, like the world of software engineering taught me a lot about like structure and like defining things really clearly and rigidly. I think that comes across in like my videos and how I teach a lot. I try to like be very clear in how I define things and like how I explain things. And I think I got that from working in the industry for like 5 years or so. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's an answer. Okay, so my answer, man, I'm a little bit embarrassed about, but whatever. I don't give a shit. A state of altered consciousness helps me look at things in a way that my regular adult-ass brain doesn't. And sometimes the ideas that I get for stupid skits or a weird way to approach painting or something that my regular need to pay the bills and make sure my daughter has lunch for school brain won't compute does. So basically, fireball and scratch off tickets.
Okay, yeah. Did you just shout Kanjan? I did. You sounded shameful. Hey.
Oh, he wrote down his question on his phone. Look at that.
Oh, dang. This is, okay, all right. I'm ready. I'm ready. So so the question was, how do we keep this community open while it continues to grow more and more, like even bigger than Magic the Gathering or stuff like that? So first of all, I think an interesting question is, do you think this hobby has the legs to grow bigger than Magic the Gathering? What are your thoughts about that?
I think the tendrils, the deep suction cup filled tendrils of miniature painting are vast, and they tickle a lot of different areas.
Is this one of your metaphors?
No, it's technically how it works. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think because of that, because if we're talking about miniature wargaming, if we're talking about role playing, if we're talking about board games, if we're talking about just liking a cool thing like a My Little Pony and you want to paint it, or you want to repaint a toy, or you want to do Gundam, like there are a ton of areas, and there's probably twice as many that 10 years from now we haven't even explored yet for what we do applies directly to that. I think we touch so many areas of the hobby that is not just the hobby that we think of it as, but we're the kind of the connecting force that I can talk to somebody that plays a game I've never heard of before, but I can talk to them about some part of it. Or I can talk to them about 40K, and I don't play 40K, but I love the models that Games Workshop makes. Or I can talk about 3D printing because I love to find weird 3D prints to talk about, to paint. And I think that we are like the beating heart for so many of these other areas that let them be bigger than what they would be otherwise. And I truly feel, in my heart of hearts, if Warhammer gave you a box of little toy soldiers, and they were like hero clicks, and they were pre-painted like shit, and you got to play your game with it, the game is not the game we know today. And these 1,000 seats are not filled. Because the hobby is what makes it the games that we get passionate about. It's the full side of it.
I think to answer your question, how do we keep this like community open and accepting? I think it's really important to celebrate where people are at in their hobby journey, right? Because like with the advent of the internet, it's super easy to pick up a model for the first time and paint it, and then go look at Francesco Farabi's work and be like, I'm shit, I can't do anything, and then just give up, right? And so it's super important for us to all remember where we came from, and like remember like how good it felt, like I don't know, like back in the day when we had no internet and we're painting and just had what we had, and it felt so good to celebrate that and kind of like lend some of that old experience to them, where it's like, this is amazing, this is your first step into a journey that's going to last for a long time if you want it to, and it's going to get better and better. So yeah, celebrate where people are at.
I got an answer on your answer for his question, because that's a really fucking good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing is that this is the answer that Scott and I should try to come up with an answer for, but all of you should come up with an answer for, because each of us is a person in our own communities that can build the hobby, that can make it inclusive, that we can be inviting to new people, that we can say, hey, we're going to do a paint and take night, or hey, if you have questions in a local Facebook group for your local community, anything to foster that. That's how it grows.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get them, just send them to us. But first we need them to get that hook. And usually the hook is local. The hook is physical. And once that happens, when they find out they have resources, what we need to do is make sure that the barriers are down, that the entry level is low, and that people feel included, and that they're happy to be here. And that when they're with us, we're having fun, and so many other YouTubers and Twitch streamers, that they're having fun while they're there. To me, that's the most important thing. Because if you're not having fun while you're with us, you're not going to have fun while you're painting. If you're not having fun while you're painting, why the fuck are you painting?
Right.
Do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Do it because it's for a game you want to play. Do it because you're excited about your character in your next RPG campaign. Whatever it is. Fuck D&D. So that's all I have to say about this. Pathfinder 2E. Okay, go ahead. Next question.
Great question, though. Great question. Hey, why don't you tell us your name?
For
just
the first
you.
time.
No one else.
Not you.
Just you.
Not her. Not him. You.
Yeah. But no, I want to hear you guys' names. Jonathan? Is it with an
Good
H? Oh, Rebecca! Yes!
So, in the spirit of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
what would your guys' male stripper names?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, I think yours needs to be Flying J.
Yeah, it's Flying J. That's been determined. That's been determined earlier this
I feel like
evening.
the tickler works already, you know? Is that a cop-out? Is that fine? Can I say that? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Dude, can we get a movie poster?
Flying Jane the Tickler?
Yeah, because as we walk
like
out...
Chippendale style?
Yeah, as we
but like
walk...
with painted on abs?
Yeah, as we walk out of here and we're going back to the Rio, they have all the Chippendale posters in your face, just dong, 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 dong. And I just like, can we get a Flying J and the Tickler?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to make it happen.
I don't know what our pose is. I don't know what our pose is.
We'll figure it out later. We'll figure it out later, not right now.
Okay. Jesus Christ, Jonathan.
Awesome question. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Fuck it. Oh, man.
Hi. What's your name?
My name's
Joy!
Joy.
Joy?
So I came to miniature painting from a less conventional way, with nail art.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And have been able to incorporate things that I learned from that into miniature painting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to see if there's been any other art styles that you all have brought to the table. And also if you're interested in like bringing a little nail art like style into like I use like striping tape for my harlequins, and I use like I'm interested in using like nail powder for like my wardrobe beetle on my malarial.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you after this podcast.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to do this.
Yeah, so the question is like using techniques from other unconventional places. And I feel like we went to VincyCon this recently, and we talked to Kathy, Vince's wife, and she has Joann's fabrics in an office in her room. I swear to God. There's so much hobby goodness in one room.
All the fabrics.
And she was pulling out all this awesome stuff, and there's so much in there that is like a possibility for like hobby use. She like had these things that you embossed heavy foil with. She had a thing where she put adhesive down with the stamp and put gold pigment on that adhesive and then melted it and it looked like continuous gold. And I was like, my mind was like buzzing. And I was like, this is totally usable in miniature painting, but I haven't done it yet, but I would love to. I think it'd be an awesome idea.
Yeah. Kathy, Warhammer Widow on Twitter.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking good question. So when I was a little kid, I was a drawer. Anybody out here was drawers when they were kids?
Drawer?
Yeah, dude. Anyone else was the best drawer in their class in elementary school? Dude, that was a goddamn medal of honor. Every once in a while, you'd get a new kid try to take the throne from you, the drawer throne. Can't have that. Dude, I can draw the best Wolverine. Okay, this is all that you need to know.
That was your calling card, Wolverine? Mine was
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Oh wow, that didn't exist when I was a child.
Yeah.
Gambit was my go-to. I could draw a Gambit.
Okay.
With my pencil, and when I was supposed to do reading time, free
I
reading
always
time.
forget how old you are.
Yeah, it's fucking ancient.
It's like
dude.
50 or 60, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna die here.
I'm gonna die here.
I think that was a training day.
Yeah, probably.
So I went to when I was a kid. I wanted to go to art school, but my parents are German Midwesterners, which means that's not allowed. And so you had to go to school to. I can't not fiddle with my goddamn.
When did this happen? In the bathroom?
America.
Okay.
And so that wasn't an option. So I had to do a thing that appeased them, and it could be a reputable job, and I could maybe do something that made me happy. So I decided to go to school for architecture. So I went to the College of Architecture, University of Minnesota, and as a part of that, for the first couple of years, we often had to do what I came to understand later on was dioramas. You had to design. One time, I had to design a park archway. I had to design a cabin on the lake. I had to design all these things, and you'd make them out of cardboard, and you'd colored pencil them. And I used paper clips, and I twisted them with needle nose pliers, and to make trees and shit. And I totally forgot that was a thing that I had spent 3 years and way more fucking money than I can imagine to go to school to do that I never fucking did because I was like, I actually hate this. But I still went back to the things that I went to school for that I really loved, and it was like making little things that were scenes.
Yeah.
And I took the areas of architectural composition, and every time I get to apply some bit of that to creating a scene or creating a diorama or even just a single figure, how height works with basing it feels like, oh, well, that was only $80,000 to make this base, so we're good. So, yeah, that feels good.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
Hey. Hey, Keith.
Hi, Keith.
My question is, with your past experiences, attending conventions, whether it's an attendee or a teacher, when you eventually have TendyCon,
Yeah.
do you want to guarantee happening at TendyCon?
Okay, so the question is in the inevitable future where TendyCon exists, what do we want to avoid, but what do we also want to do?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, we talked about this recently. I talked about this, and you told me it's not going to happen. I said, let's do it anyway. Oh no, hang on. They're doing rules over there. Let's hear what they have to say. Yeah. Okay. What are we going to try to avoid, and what we need to ensure happens? Okay. The first rule of TendyCon is that there is a history of conventions in the nerddom that our sphere in the wargaming, in miniature painting sphere, doesn't understand are fucking sweet. Like having shows like this. Like having people up here and talking and doing Q&As and doing
panels and stuff like that.
Panels,
Yeah.
shows in the evenings, doing all this cool stuff that if you go to San Diego Comic-Con and then you go to a miniature painting or gaming convention, you're like, where's all the really sweet stuff? Like, you want to do that as well. You want to have options. So, TendyCon, I promise, as your president, that TendyCon will have all the things in the evenings that you can have all the fun you want to have and still paint and play the games and do all the things in unison in one long extended weekend.
Okay. A show of hands, who likes the idea of a cash prize for a painting competition?
Dude, you want money? Dude, who wants money? They're saying that because they think they're going to win.
Well, no, I'm just curious. So that was like, what, 30% of people? So the majority of you prefer a cash-free painting competition. Okay, cool, interesting.
Wrong. No.
Okay.
Okay. Keep going on this because I know this needs to happen right now. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm still canvassing the idea, but I love the idea of crowdsourcing ticket sales to go to tournaments. So like the scale of the event determines the prize pool for the events there, whether it's gaming, whether it's painting, and stuff like that. That was something that I learned from watching like TI, like my Valve or Dota 2. Like they like took sales from like their online store and made like the prize pool $40 million, which makes like the whole event just like omega hype. And so I like that a lot, and it means that you can do an event sponsor free as well. You don't need people's money. You don't got to put their like branding all over your stuff. You can just do it like all with your own people. And so I like that idea a lot. But I had a chat with Vince, and he said, not the greatest idea. He didn't like the idea of a cash prize tournament. So then I was like, oh, maybe my ideas aren't good, which usually it does not occur to me. And so that's why I asked the question. I was curious what the thoughts were regarding that.
Yeah, because usually if we have a good idea, if we run it by Vince and we find out it's not a good idea, we don't ever talk about it again.
Yeah, it just dies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Here's why you're
Sure.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, that is usually the response that is then followed up with, here's why you're wrong.
Yeah. But is there anything I feel like there needs to be like a food truck outside that serves tendies.
Dude, yeah. We need a food train.
Yes.
The train comes in for brunch, lunch, supper, and 3 a.m. post hard Mountain Dews. Okay? Yeah. Like, food is so important to TendyCon.
Yes.
It's in the name. Right?
That is true.
Dude, you want Nashville hot? You want Korean barbecue? You want that spicy garlic?
Okay, you're adding
you want me to keep going?
You're adding a lot of things here that are not guarantees.
Listen, give me a couple more fireballs, and we'll get this whole thing hammered out tonight.
Was that a good enough answer? Okay. Yes. Hi, Colton. Going great. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep talking. Yes.
Some dude. Do we kiss now?
Wow, that's deep, man.
Yeah.
So the question was, a lot of nice things about John.
Yeah.
Scott is okay.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the man love
No, yeah. How do we feel now that we're here?
now that we're here?
I feel like a lot of people talk about kind of getting lucky with YouTube and having a video that gets a bazillion views and that kind of launches your career. Or some giant YouTuber mentions your channel and it's oh, I gained 60K subs overnight. And I never had that experience. And so it's been a really slow burn kind of thing. And so I don't know, when I think about it, it kind of feels like it was a slow, natural progression. I just came from being consistent and doing some hard work. And sometimes it can feel like a little bit of a responsibility and a weight, because when you make when I try to make better and better videos, it feels like I can't ever backtrack, right? I can't make a worse video now because I put this thing out. People know I'm capable of this. I can't do anything worse than it. So it can feel like a little bit of a responsibility. But that's definitely a thing I put on myself. I have to remind myself of that. People just you guys are all fantastic, and you appreciate all my videos so much, and tell me that, and I'm so thankful for it. And I have to kind of just remember that. But I don't know. I was working at my kind of a software engineering job, and I hated it, and I wanted to do this, and now I'm doing it, and it's just so much better for it. And every day I'm just thankful for that opportunity. That I have to program every single day behind a desk and do whatever I want. Talk about literal chicken tenders on the internet. I mean, that's an amazing job.
Yeah, dude. That is a great Hall of Fame acceptance speech that you just gave, Scott. You didn't thank Jesus, though, so you probably should do that real quick.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay, we're good. This is weird because I don't think I've made it. Like I'm like when okay right now, like I'm like this is weird, like, but usually it's just like me. Like I get up in the morning, I take my dog for a walk, I take my daughter to the bus stop, I come back, and I go downstairs and I work on stuff and I paint miniatures, which is pretty sweet to do for a job, but it's a lot of pressure of like, what is the next cool idea, or what is my spin on this, or what excites me, and how can I put it in a way to excite you, and I don't really think about the current situation. And when it comes to the podcast, this is really a unique thing because our podcast is every other week. Every other Friday, I drive up to Scott's house, and it's before I had quit my job and I started YouTube full time, I took that day off from work. Every other Friday, I took a day of vacation to do the podcast. And I did that for like 2.5 years because it was a fucking day off to me. Because when I came up, we joked, we talked about the shit we were going to talk about, whether or not there was a fucking microphone on or not. Yeah. And we got to do the funny shit that we were going to already do. We got to talk about the fun stuff in miniature painting and the weird things that we just tried and the funny story that happened to me last week and this, that, or the other. Yeah. And that's all that it was. Yeah. And so I still think that this podcast is me taking a day of vacation to do a fun thing with my friend.
Yeah. There's a lot of bullshit in being a YouTuber, and like doing the podcast is definitely like a break from all that bullshit. Like it really is just a lot of fun. And I always kind of ask that question, like, why do people like enjoy this like unplanned, like half-baked, like bullshit? But like you guys are here, you're showing up, and I think that's just because we're just having fun and enjoying it, and I think that reads. So yeah.
So we're fine. You need to ask questions about yourself. Great.
Thank you, Colton. Appreciate it.
Great question.
All right, Mr. Adric Knight.
Mic check.
Sounds good.
Yeah, good check. I wrote it down because I'm not going to speak.
Okay.
But I've got a two-parter here. Okay, so first thing, as a painter, do you think competing is an important part of becoming a better artist? And why or why not?
Okay.
And then the second one is a Vegas bonus question, which is what drink has taken you out the most?
Taking me out?
Yeah, like last drink, you're done.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Okay. All right.
No.
So the first question was, is competitive painting important for improving, and like, in why or why not? And the other question is what alcoholic beverage takes you out, murders you? Okay. I think that you can improve without competitive painting, but I think that it definitely helps you improve, probably at a faster rate, because you have a deadline, you have like a quality you're trying to achieve, and that just motivates you. And so you just get things done. I find that when I don't have any kind of deadline, I definitely kind of like procrastinate or kind of take my time and do things like that. But also, interestingly enough, whenever someone talks to me about their competitive entries, they always talk to me about the new things they're trying out, which to me always seemed kind of weird. Like I feel like if you're going to do an entry, you'd always kind of just operate in your wheelhouse, what you're good at. But for a lot of people, it brings out like this desire to want to learn new things. And so I think that competitive painting, for that reason, for the deadline reason, definitely kind of pushes you forward, for sure. But you don't need it to improve, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, sports ball. Let's talk about sports ball for a
Sports
second.
ball.
So, if a really good sports ball player, Michael Jordan, is an example. If Michael Jordan was really, really good at sports ball, but he never got to play in any games, how good would he be at his pinnacle? And what makes somebody good in a competitive field is to push themselves, and pushing yourselves means going against somebody else, or saying, even if it's like golf, where technically you're not even against somebody else, you're playing against yourself, but other people are playing against themselves, so we're all playing with ourselves together. It's weird. But the point of the matter is that other people push you as an external force to get better. Certain people are really good at pushing themselves internally and need less of that external force. So some of us could become amazing painters with ever competing and ever feeling that was some part of what we wanted to do in a given calendar year. But I would guess to say that most of us, by feeling the pressure, the anxiety, the deadline, and the really saying, I need to actually show this to the best of my abilities, you'd be better by as much with other people in your competition as the deadline to get it done. And the thing that Scott said is the utmost importance, because no miniature, no piece of art is ever perfect, and none are ever done. They can be finished, but they could always be better. But if you have a deadline and you have a thing you need to say, by August 15th, I have to turn this into a judge, that means I am going to hone in on that date and make it as good as I can by that date. And that will make you a better painter for the next one, whether the next one is for a competition or for a fun game you want to play. So.
And the drink that sends us to the golden throne,
drinks.
Mai Tais.
Mai Tais.
As evident by the last drunken mini painting.
Is that the same for both of you?
No, Jack Daniels.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Great double team question there.
Hey.
So I guess the question sort of based on what Colton was saying, what, if anything, do you miss from hobby before the camera started?
Yes. This is a great question.
Adrian.
I miss being able to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Yeah, if that means working on a Mordheim custom sculpted like warband for 6 months, that's what I get to do. But like that isn't necessarily entertaining on YouTube if I did like a 80-part series on that same thing, right?
You don't know until you try.
yeah, I mean, you first. But yeah, so, and you know, maybe there's a little bit of me just saying that wouldn't work, but it would kind of work. Yeah, of course. There's that fucking guy. All right, guaranteed one view. All right, sick. But yeah, there's a little bit of that. I feel the need to like mix it up constantly because I think with a YouTube audience, if they can guess what's coming, they just become disinterested, right? If it's like, oh, this is the same process I see every single week with the same narration, the same cadence, but it's a different model. I feel like there is some interest there, but after like 6 months, it definitely wanes, right? And so I feel the need to mix it up constantly, keep people guessing so they're like engaged and interested. So being able just to do whatever hobby thing I wanted for however long I wanted. If I want to mess with 3D printing for 3 months, I can do that. It doesn't matter. Like no one's going to watch a video or care about that. So that's what I miss for sure.